Because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because of why.
So let's talk about something you've probably wondered about. Is it the Czech Republic or is it Czechia? You see both names pop up all over the place, right? On maps, during sports games. It can get a little confusing. Well, we're going to dive in and get this sorted out once and for all. Okay, so picture this. You're kicking back, watching the Euros, and you see Czechia flash up on the scoreboard. Or maybe you're just scrolling through Google Maps, and there it is. And you kind of do a double take, right? You think, wait a minute, isn't it the Czech Republic? When did that change? Well, you are definitely not alone in asking that. And the answer? It's actually way simpler than you'd think. All right, so let's get right to it. What is the official story? The big reveal is they're both correct. Yep, they just have different jobs, different purposes. Let's break that down. Okay, the whole thing really boils down to one simple idea. You see, most countries actually have two names. There's the long, formal political name, and then there's the short, geographical name we use every day. The Czech Republic, that's the formal one. And Czechia, that's the official short name. Simple as that. And if that still seems a little weird, just think about it like this. You'd never say, hey, I'm flying to the French Republic for my vacation, right? You just say, I'm going to France. Or you wouldn't say, the Russian Federation is huge. You just say, Russia. Well, it's the exact same thing here. The Czech Republic is the full, formal title, and Czechia is its simple, everyday counterpart. And you know, this isn't some brand new thing they just came up with, not at all. If you look at the timeline, this goes way back. Right after Czechoslovakia dissolved back in 1993, Czechia was already being recommended as the English version of their own short name Česko. It just kind of didn't catch on for a while. It really wasn't until 2016 that the government made a big official push to use it, and that's when it got listed with the UN. So you might be thinking, okay, I get it, but why not just call it Bohemia? I mean, that's a name a lot of us have heard of, it's got history, it seems easier, right? Well, this is where things get a bit more interesting, and we have to look at the map a little closer.
Yeah, the name Bohemia is super old. We're talking ancient. It comes from this Celtic tribe, the Boii. And the Romans, when they encountered them, they called the land Boiohemum, which basically just means home of the boy. And that name, Bohemia, it stuck around for literally centuries. So it's a massive, crucial part of the country's history, but, and this is a big but, it's not the whole story.
See, the country we now call Czechia is really a union of three historical lands. You've got Bohemia in the west, sure, but you also have Moravia in the east and then a piece of Silesia up in the northeast. So calling the whole country Bohemia is, well, it's just not accurate. It's a lot like calling the entire United Kingdom England. You'd be leaving out Scotland and Wales, and that just wouldn't be right.
Okay, so if the logic for Czechia is so clear, it's just a short name, like France, why has it been so controversial? Why did it take so long to catch on? Well, believe it or not, this little name has faced some serious pushback for decades, both inside the country and out.
Yeah, the opposition went all the way to the top. The country's very first president, the famous writer and dissident Václav Havel, he really disliked it. Back in '93, he pretty much dismissed the name Czechia, saying it reminded him of cheap exile journalism. And when a figure that respected says something like that, well, it carries a lot of weight. His opinion really set a negative tone for the name that lasted for years.
And the reasons people gave were all over the map. For some, it was just a feeling. They didn't like the sound of it. They thought it sounded, quote, too Eastern. For others, especially people from Moravia, it felt like it was all about Prague, this idea of Prague-centrism, and that the name was ignoring their own distinct regional identity. But then there was the biggest issue of all, the worry that it would get confused with another place.
And here it is, the big one, the fear of mixing up Czechia with Chechnya, the republic in Russia. This wasn't just a theoretical problem. This fear became a very real, very public issue after the Boston Marathon bombing in 2013. Some major media outlets actually got it wrong and said the attackers were from the Czech Republic. It caused a huge mess and a major diplomatic headache they had to clean up.
Okay, so after all that history and controversy, let's bring it back to today. What's the practical takeaway for you and me? Which name should we be using and when? Let's finally get to the simple, official guidance.
Honestly, it's pretty simple. You use the Czech Republic when things are formal and official. Think diplomatic letters, legal documents, that kind of thing. For literally almost everything else, you use Czechia. We're talking maps, globes, sports jerseys, marketing, just talking about the country in general. Basically, if you would say France and not the French Republic, you should be saying Czechia.
So let's just nail this down to one last time. The key takeaway is this: the Czech Republic is the formal political name of the state. Czechia is the official short name for the country. They're both right. They just have different places where they belong.
And that really brings us to a bigger idea, doesn't it? This whole debate, it's not just about what to call a place. It's about history, it's about national branding, it's about how a country carves out its identity on the world stage. It really makes you think, how much power is packed into a single word? How much can it shape the way a nation sees itself, and how the rest of the world sees it, too?